Trump did talk about it in a way that was offensive and beneath the dignity of his office.
This is a maybe misdemeanor.
He went from, vaccine is great, amazing that Trump did this, I got it, my wife got it, this is awesome, to all of a sudden, I don't know about this vaccine. All that changed was that Biden came in.
I'm not the biggest fan of Chris Cuomo, but there was a debate going around between him and libertarian Dave Smith, and if you've heard of it at all, the narrative around it has been Dave Smith destroyed Cuomo and exposed all these truths about the right, and I finally got around to watching it, and that's just a horrendously bad take. Dave was better performatively, I guess, and he was pandering to a right-wing audience who cheered anything that came off pro-Trump, but his arguments were structured around factually wrong statements and frankly a lot of assumptions, and there's a few topics relevant to what we discuss on the channel, so I thought why not go through a few of them, because too often people watch debates like this and they assume that whoever gets cheered more won or had more factual statements, like the cheers determine the truth.
This is a maybe misdemeanor. That it's a glorified misdemeanor that they've turned into 34 felonies. It is totally appalling. This is a result of the justice system being weaponized, and they had this in New York where they know, I mean, getting a jury to convict Donald Trump in New York is pretty easy. People hate his guts there. And it's a major moment in the history of the United States of America. You know, one of the things that I hear a lot of Trump critics will say, which to me is the most, you ever hear the red pill, blue pill analogy? Like, in the Matrix, you either have the red pill or the blue pill. It's the most blue pilled thing I've ever heard, where they go, no president is above the law. You go, except all of them are. You know what I mean? Like, all previous presidents are above the law, and there's been major crimes committed by presidents.
Okay, right off the bat, there's multiple things wrong with what he's claiming here. This is absolutely a felony. It's always been charged as such. Falsifying business records to cover up another crime is what makes it a felony. Here is a list of people getting charged with this exact same thing, a felony, dating back all the way to 2010. This is just how the law works. It's kind of like trespassing. Trespassing itself is just a misdemeanor, but if you engage in another criminal act while trespassing, like property damage or theft, trespassing then becomes a felony. This is how the law has always worked, and wanting it to change for Trump specifically just shows how cold-brained one can be. Second, invoking New York as if that's unfair and shouldn't be done in New York would open a clear slippery slope. First off, he was charged for that in New York because he did the crime in New York, but the opposite of this, or what he seems to be saying, is that you should be able, Trump or anyone who's not a Democrat should be able to do crime in New York and get away with it because, of course them and the people in New York are going to convict them. That's what he has to be wanting if he says that charges shouldn't be brought in New York because for what's now a proven crime, because what? The people will convict him for it? Again, it just opens a slippery slope of politicians doing crimes in states that vote for the opposite party because then they can go, oops, can't charge me, the trial won't be fair. This is literally what fascism is. It's taking away the credibility of institutions so you can then get away with doing exactly what you want. And lastly, he purposefully misrepresents what presidential immunity is, either that or just out of complete ignorance. You guys can decide, not me. Presidents are immune from powers exercised in an official executive capacity. This is why presidents who order drone strikes and such aren't tried for war crimes, because they're using their executive capacity to do so. But the court has clearly stated, as far back as President Nixon, that the president isn't just immune from the entire judicial process. Trump didn't even falsify business records he didn't do it in an official capacity. He didn't even do it when he was president. So he's not just immune because he became president. The idea of that is just horrendously wrong, and it's ahistorical as well. And even if you do think that other presidents should be charged for war crimes, the answer is charge them for war crimes, not let another president get away with doing illegal things.
Donald Trump came down and talked about this, and then, and only then, was it that the people on MSNBC and CNN decided it was racist to bring up the browning of America. And then a few people started calling it the Great Replacement, and some of those people were like some pretty hardcore right-wing,
Trump did talk about it in a way that was offensive and beneath the dignity of his office. This is a nation of immigrants. Yes, you have to come the right way. No question about that. But he was delivering a different message because there was reaction formation to what the left and the diversity crowd on the left was pushing.
Dave Smith here is just lying by omission, and Cuomo calls him out and is exactly right. Trump is racist for his rhetoric and intent behind his words, calling them vermin, saying they're poisoning the blood of America. In his 2016 campaign, saying they're taking American jobs, which just isn't true, claiming they're all escaping from insane asylums and comparing them to Hannibal Lecter, saying they're all criminals and thugs. These are all racist stereotypes and rhetoric meant to stoke racist hate, comparing that to media saying that immigrants are coming, so we better get used to being an immigrant country is just horribly disingenuous at best.
Everyone was celebrating that Trump got this done. All the Republicans were celebrating it. That's why Kamala Harris said what she said. She was playing stupid, petty politics and saying, I won't take any vaccine that's Donald Trump. That was stupid for her to say it. Then it switched. And the same people, the clip you have with me and Byron Donalds, who I respect as a lawmaker, I love having him on the show. I like to hear his name in the conversation about being VP. He went from, vaccine is great, amazing that Trump did this, I got it, my wife got it, this is awesome, to all of a sudden, I don't know about this vaccine. All that changed was that Biden came in.
And again, Cuomo is exactly right. Under Trump, the COVID vaccine was this amazing thing that Trump did, and he's leading the way. Fauci literally got a medal for it and recognized for his work, and it was something that was a huge thing on the list of Trump's reasons to get reelected. Then all of a sudden, Biden comes in and it's completely vilified. It's a fake vaccine. It came from a lab, and all these other crazy conspiracy theories with no basis in reality, or the whole ivermectin madness, which they talk about, but we're not fitting another clip in here, so we'll just address it. There's not a single study supporting the effectiveness of ivermectin for COVID. Studies actually literally show it had no benefit whatsoever, but plenty of studies show the effectiveness of the COVID vaccine against the early 2 strains of COVID, not allowing enough of the virus in your system for you to get highly sick to a dangerous level, and it also lowered transmission because of that. Yet the right wants to focus in on gotcha clips of Rachel Maddow or calling the vaccine fake full stop, even though the effects are clear. But they'll tell you to take ivermectin and praise Joe Rogan for speaking about it as if it was the true cure. It's clearly just the right trying to make science political. And I can promise you, they're the last people you want to listen to when it comes to science, facts, or data. And I'm sad to see Dave Smith clearly running defense for them and people buying into him doing a good job when he cited no sources, he cited no studies, he cited no data, and honestly, didn't even make any factually true statements.